Welcome back to Conversation with Buddy. I'm your host, Buddy Puckett. Here we are again, doing another podcast. I've got a good friend with me this morning. We're going to talk about mortgages, marriage, and ministry, and then probably a little bit about golf. So without further ado, let me introduce my friend, Ken Belden. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
It's good to be here, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
It could have been worse because last week you got in a car crash. What happened?
Yeah, it was.
Do we want to talk about it? Or?
No, we don't. It capped off 48 hours of a nightmare for me. That's just real life.
Just real life.
It's just real life. But it was nobody hurt.
Okay.
And I was actually trying to avoid a kid on a scooter with no helmet is where it started. So
okay, so you took the ding on that one, so it saved him. And
yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm going with.
Okay, we'll go with that one.
I was trying to coming up with saving a baby from something, but it wasn't right.
That wasn't it.
It wasn't fitting.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, Ken, we're just kind of diving deep. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. You and I, we known each other for what, 10 years? Give or take?
I would say at least.
At least, yeah.
I think we've gotten to know each other more, and certainly about 10 years ago we really started to get to know each other.
Yeah,
but I think we met early 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
You have a better memory than I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about, like I said, mortgages, marriage, ministry. So talk about golf real quick. I was looking at your Facebook profile. You got a hole-in-one a while back. Was that Mark that was with you?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Mr. Saftich, he was with me.
Okay.
December of 19, I believe it was.
What course were you on?
Been playing 55 years and never had one. Finally got one.
You finally got one.
Yeah. We were on 11 at Tri Mountain.
Where's that at?
Up in Ridgefield.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful course, probably.
Yeah, it's a great course.
Okay.
It was December.
Yeah.
We were all bundled up and, with a couple of people we didn't know. Yeah. Couldn't even see it.
What was the distance of the hole?
I think it was about 165, 170. I should know, but
which iron was that?
For me, pitching wedge. No, I'm just
okay, Tiger.
Yeah, exactly. No, I believe I had my 6 iron.
Really? Okay. So a real soft 6.
Yeah. Actually, 175 is a good 6 for me.
Okay. Yep. I would agree on that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dude, I know golf is something you love. We're going to hear more about that later. But so Ken, take us back a little bit. We want to know a little bit more about Ken. I mean, I always say we know a lot of people on the surface, but we don't know really the depths of them and who they are really. There's a lot of depth to you. So we're going to dive in deep. Take us back to the very beginning. Where were you born? Tell me about mom and dad. Any siblings you got? Just start with that.
All right. That goes way back a few years. I was actually born in Whittier, California, and moved up to Portland when I was probably 5.
Pause for one sec.
Yeah.
It's funny because I have a friend, Jeff Morgan. He was, I think, born and raised in Whittier.
Oh.
A golf guy named Terry. He lived in Whittier. What's it about Whittier? Like, everybody's from Whittier.
No idea.
Okay.
I don't even know how we ended up there.
I have to introduce you to Jeff at some point in time. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So moved up to Portland, followed my grandfather, my mom's dad up here. He pastored the Portland Foursquare Church for about 30 years. And so we all came up and made our lives up here, grew up in the Tigard area, raised my kids in Tualatin. And so that's kind of where we did there. My parents kind of unique. My dad grew up in the Philippines.
Okay. So you're Filipino, man.
Yeah, I got a quarter Filipino.
Quarter, okay.
Yeah. That qualifies me from what I understand. They met over there. My mom's dad was a missionary in the Philippines. My dad's dad was a CEO of a steel company that helped build Manila. And they met when they were over there. My dad ended up coming over to the States they sent him off to boarding school and whatnot. But interesting, with my grandfather, my dad's dad, when the Japanese came in and took over the Philippines, they actually took over my grandfather's house. They promised them that they would take care of my dad and his brother. They'd put my grandfather in a concentration camp, but would not hurt him. And if my grandmother would take care of the officers, the Japanese officers. So she did. I think it was about 2 years, year and a half to 2 years. She did, and they didn't hurt the boys, and they let my grandfather out of the concentration camp. And there was a lot of stuff going around. You talk about getting deep. My dad only on 2 occasions, very surface, told us about a couple of scenes that he remembers walking through fields and seeing kids and people,
Wow.
passed. So tough upbringing. Probably led a lot into kind of who my dad was, and he was very kind of more of an not an introvert, but he kept things close to his chest. Didn't share a lot. Unless he was angry, it wasn't very emotional.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy. Okay,
it's pretty nutty.
So your dad grew up there. Your mom was there. She was on mission trip because your grandpa was.
She was in high school.
Okay,
so they were there as missionaries.
Yeah,
and so they met. And then he followed it when he went to boarding school in the U.S., San Francisco, military school.
Yeah.
They kept contact and ended up getting together, getting married, and pretty young age, and so, and had us. I got one sister. Okay. I have one sister.
Younger or older?
She's younger.
Okay.
By about 4.5 years, 5 years, but she and I are tight.
Okay.
She's one of my best friends. She's awesome.
I love that. I love it. Now, she lived local to where you're at?
She's actually down in the Bay Area. So she's been in the East Bay, Danville area for probably 40 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. My nephews, her whole family's down there. So.
Okay. Nice.
And then,
So tell me about mom and dad. Where are they at now?
Dad passed.
Okay.
He and my mom were divorced quite a few years ago. I think in the late 80s, they ended up getting divorced. And my dad ended up going to Mongolia for 10 years, taught business, and lived in a yurt, taught English.
Okay.
And then he came back, then went to Laos for another 12 years, lived over there doing the same kind of thing with a missionary group out of Atlanta. And it was awesome. I mean, he loved it. He found his purpose, and he really enjoyed what he was doing for the last part of his life.
Got it. So your mom and dad got divorced. How old were you at that age?
I was out. I was in college.
Okay, so you already moved on.
I was on. Yeah, I moved on. My sister was still in the house, but I was right when I was probably 3 years into college.
Yeah. Was that hard for you? Was it hard for your sister?
Hard for my sister.
Yeah.
But we didn't have when I grew up, our we were church-going people, obviously. My grandfather, very somewhat affluent at that moment in time. And my dad was really kind of inside the house, was very tough on us kids. So we experienced a lot of verbal abuse, some physical. My sister probably got the brunt of some of the physical part of it. I ended up leaving when I was about 17 to go live with somebody else, some friends, and it was a tough time. I mean, he and I would get into a lot of arguments, and it was a lot of stuff going on. Some funny stuff, stories I could tell, but but a lot of anger in the house, and that was a big issue growing up.
Yeah.
So, kind of one of those things where you look at you're kind of always going, I swear I'm not going to be like this. But there was a lot of good stuff that came out of that too. A lot of strength that comes out of some of the things we experienced.
Yeah. I mean, your dad went through a lot, growing up.
He did.
He saw a lot probably, and, he probably did the best he could do with what he had.
Yeah, I don't even think we know exactly the whole story. Okay. I mean, we try to find the whole story, but, his dad was friends with the Marcos and all that kind of stuff at that particular time. There was a lot of who you want to know people surrounding the house and all that kind of stuff, but just a lot of hidden things. I wish we would have had some sort of a diary, would have known, because I think there's stories that are just amazing.
Untold stories.
Untold stories.
All right. I got to write that one down.
Yeah.
All right. So you and your sister are still close. How about you and your mom?
Yeah, my mom lives about 5 minutes walking from my house.
What?
When we moved back up,
yeah.
we had gone down to the Bay Area for a minute for some health reasons for my wife. But we came back up here about 7 months ago, and we ended up moving my mom into a facility that is right by our house, so we get to be a part of her life and spend time with her, go to church with her on Sundays.
Yeah,
It's good.
how cool is that?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And where does your wife's family live?
They're in the battleground area.
Okay.
So, 30, 40 minutes from us.
Oh,
yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the high school years. What was high school like for you? Did you do sports?
Yeah.
When did you accept Christ?
Good question. I really accepted Christ, probably made a decision right around 5, 6 years old. I actually, remember pretty close to where it was in the church that we had at the time in Portland, and then felt like I was called to a type of ministry when I was 12 years old. So I walked with the Lord for pretty much my entire life. With that said, we like to go off on our own trails once in a while. My walk looks more like a little bit of a snake kind of a thing, a scenic route. But I going through high school and junior high school, I was a pretty good kid. I didn't party. I was definitely sports. That time football, basketball, baseball. Those were my things. That was my basketball was kind of probably my real sport.
Okay.
Yeah, I played in college for a little bit, small college. But
okay.
Yeah, so it was that was probably my biggest sport. But I was all about staying healthy and I mean I got in trouble, but it wasn't. I was a good kid. I was actually much better, much better than I should have been. I mean much better than I. Let's cut that one out.
Cut that one out. Okay, yeah. All right, so you high school. Which high school did you go to?
So I went to through the Tigard School District. I went to Tigard 1 year and then transferred to. In my high school years, I went to Jackson the last year they were in school, and then I went to 2 private schools.
Okay.
So I ended up graduating. Actually, I ended up getting my GED because my credits didn't come around, but I from Columbia Christian.
Okay.
Over on the east side.
Right on.
Yeah.
You got through, man.
I got through.
That's all
I can do. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So football, basketball, baseball. Basketball was your sport.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college then to play basketball?
I went to Life Pacific College, which is down in Pacific University now. It was just college when I was there.
Yeah.
Down in LA.
Okay.
So played there for a couple of years. I actually went to Christ for the Nations in Dallas right out of high school. It's a 2-year school. Mm-hmm. I just felt like I was supposed to go there. I wanted to go to Oregon.
Okay.
And I was going for the architectural program, and I felt like the Lord just tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, I got something else for you.
That won't be good for you, man.
Yeah. Which he was probably correct. Uh-huh. So I most of the times he is.
Yeah.
So
I might go with all the time. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Yeah, I think so. So I went to Christ for the Nations. Great experience. Really kind of honed in my personal relationship with Jesus.
Okay.
And then when I came back, I went to Life for a year. Our youth pastor at Portland Foursquare ended up leaving. My grandfather said, hey, will you step in and just fill in? And I said, I'll step in. Well, that ended up being about 2 years, a little over 2 years. And then I went back to Bible college and finished.
Oh, you finished? Okay, got your degree.
Yeah, I got my BA down there, yeah.
What was your degree in?
Theology. Theology and counseling, communication.
Okay. So go back to, you accepted Christ maybe at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But you knew at 12 you had a ministry or God to give you. What is that?
I've thought through that because I grew up around ministry. Mm-hmm. I only viewed ministry as one thing. Mm-hmm. That was full-time in a church.
Yeah. Pastor, baby.
Pastor. Yeah. Pastor to grandkid. So that's the way I viewed it. I view it differently now. Mm-hmm. And I think it took me a while to figure that out because at that particular point, I felt like I was called to ministry. So I'm going to go be a youth pastor. I'm going to go then be an associate pastor. I'm then going to be a senior pastor. But life happens. That didn't happen. I ended up going through a divorce. And while I took myself out of ministry, but I was a youth pastor and in the ministry for about 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And as an associate or youth, took myself out. And that's where a lot of things kind of changed. You start to challenge. My thinking started being challenged.
Okay.
As to, what God called me to. I'm 12 years old. You called me to ministry. I was supposed to do this, this, and this, and this. And what I realized is, hey, ministry takes on a lot of roles.
Yeah.
100%. And, when we're sitting next to someone on a bus, we're ministering. It's what we're doing from inside.
Yeah.
What are we doing with our heart? How are we representing Jesus? That's our ministry, depending on where we are. I've told you before, even later on in life, I went to Costco, and I worked at Costco later in life, and it was a humbling thing when I went to do. But part of this that we're talking about right now quickly shifted my mindset to where I'm like, this is my ministry. This is my mission field. And it became this amazing experience. So it kind of changed. So asking at 12 what I thought was like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the ranks.
Yeah.
And if you're asking me now at 62, I'm kind of going, it's a whole different ballgame. Think differently.
Well, let's go back. After high school, college, you got married. How old were you when you got married?
23.
How long were you married? How many kids do you have? Then what happened?
So I have 2 kids from my first marriage.
Okay.
And I knew my wife from junior high on. We were actually great friends growing up.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting married. It was like everybody in the church was like, oh my gosh, this is a match made in heaven. It's just amazing, but we're young kids, 22, dragging her through different colleges and different things like that. And churches. And we had 2 kids, Kyle and Kendra. And we were married for 7 years.
Okay.
And I knew things weren't quite right. So I kind of took myself out of the ministry. I was associate pastor up in Bremerton, Washington.
Okay, yeah.
And I kind of just said, hey, we're going to go back down to where we can be taken care of and work on this. But that didn't end up working out. So that was I was 30 years old.
Okay, so you're 30 years old. What do you think? We don't have to dig too deep, but I want to know what are some lessons looking back? Because a lot of times you can go, you may have thought this was going on, but really looking back, it was something maybe completely different. So how do you look at the divorce now from 62? I mean, it takes 2 people to be married, and marriage is not easy. I always say, God created marriage to keep men humble. That's really what I say, because marriage is humbling, right? It is hard because we're giving up ourselves. We're supposed to serve our wives. Looking back, you can talk about what was going on, but looking back, maybe a perspective.
I've taken a look back, and this is getting deep into my walk and into my life. It's getting real deep. I've had to deal with a lot of different things. Obviously, going through things like that, you deal with guilt and shame, and I did for years. Looking at that divorce, I think I realized that I wasn't, certainly on my end of it, I wasn't being the husband I needed to be for my wife. I was raised, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, when you're in the ministry, it's all ministry. The wife takes care of the home, and the man is out doing his thing, right? I mean, this is
saving the world, man.
Saving the world, and this is more important, and this is what we've learned now, and what we really understand is that's not what God's calling us to. When he calls us to ministry, our first responsibility is to him.
Yes.
Our second responsibility is to our wife.
Amen.
And our family.
Come on.
And that was a concept that I did not have readily available at that particular young life.
Yeah. Well, your grandpa was probably one of your influencers in your life. You know, he's a pastor. He loved Jesus. Yet there's some of those old thoughts of how people lived. I have parents that came from that generation as well. The husband works and the wife takes care of everything else.
Yeah.
But
and it's not necessarily wrong, but the ministry is two people. It's the husband and the wife. Our ministry is this, and if the wife is feeling very comfortable with, you're called to the congregation, we're called, but you're called, and my calling and ministry is to our home, and it works out that's great. I mean, I know marriages that work like that even now, that are fine, but I think it's a joint calling that has to be on the table, and I think my grandfather and my grandmother had that a little more understanding like that than even probably a lot of people around. So I see people even their age that struggle with pastors that struggle with a lot of different things that he and my grandmother didn't struggle with, and I think it goes back to exactly what we're talking about.
Right. Okay, yeah, interesting. After the divorce, I mean, how do you reconcile that? You're a believer, Satan loves to use guilt and shame. By the way, that's his favorite tool.
Yeah, he does.
And fear. And how did you work through that? Because Christians aren't supposed to get divorced, Ken. We're perfect, aren't we? Well, apparently we're not. That's why we needed Christ. But there's no judgment, man. It can happen to anybody, and nobody gets married. And go, hey, one day I'm gonna get divorced. You don't think about that, but sometimes it happens. I mean, yeah. So how'd you deal with that?
Okay, but you got to promise not to tell anybody.
I won't say a word, bro.
Okay, because it's between you and I.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I went to the drinking.
You went to the, hey, wow.
I went to the bottle. My 30s, I never really drank a ton during high school or really at all. Even in my first years of marriage, I really didn't drink. But after that divorce, I kind of turned inward, and depending on how you look at that, but to more of a selfish role, and began to drink more and more and have more fun. I was working in the restaurant industry right after that in LA, which is just...
It doesn't sound, the influences there don't sound good, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. The interesting thing about my 30s and even really some of my 40s is I did kind of go hard. Not that I was partying, because I've never been a real partier. I've never been a guy that goes and I'm just, I'm jumping up on tables doing whatever, but I just enjoyed drinking and I enjoyed being out with people.
Yeah.
The thing was I never left my faith. I never, a lot of people people close to me would know, but people that were not close to me wouldn't really have guessed what I was going through at that particular point. And I still, in unhealthy moments, was able to minister or make that a priority, is to never deny who I was and to be able to pray for people. It didn't matter where I was. I've laid my hands on people at the bar, and prayed for people in those moments, Very interesting. And I don't know, I'm still probably trying to unpack that to, why was I so free to do that, but wasn't really surrendering other areas of my life. It's very interesting. And I still go through a lot of that thought process and thinking through, and I enjoy it now. Before
you do. Okay.
I enjoy going through the process of why, what made that happen. Because we all deal with that guilt and shame differently.
Yeah.
And by dealing with guys and talking with guys, and that is one of the things that my heart has always gone out to, are guys trying to fight this battle alone, because we're not meant to do that. We're meant to be shoulder to shoulder. We're meant to fight with each other. Bible talks about sin hidden in darkness will continue to grow when it's brought out into the open. In the light. And maybe that's part of what I did when I'm sitting there drinking with people, but I'm talking about Jesus. It's almost like a catch for me. It's almost like saying, I'm not going to go any farther. I'm using this a little bit facetiously, but I'm putting a line out there, and people, now I'm accountable, because people that maybe don't know the Lord or, do, are saying, okay, this guy knows the Lord. You could call that hypocrisy too. But
we all got a little bit of hypocrisy, man.
Right. But I agree with that. And you're right. But I also look at people now and I go, hey, I get the struggle. I get the inner struggle, and the who I want to be and the inner struggle doesn't make me a hypocrite.
Yeah.
It makes me a guy that's struggling and trying to figure out how to deal with this inner turmoil.
Yeah.
That's all it makes me. And I think understanding that when you're talking to men, other men, or you're mentoring young men growing up, is important. Otherwise, it becomes a religion.
Right. And your moments at the bar, was it really you looking to go drinking and having fun, or was it you just trying to numb the pain?
Ooh, good question. Great question. I would say numbing.
We wouldn't tell people that. We're just having fun. We're out with the bros, whatever, having fun. I think, I look at my own life. I was a prodigal. I grew up a little bit in church and did my own thing. And I definitely drank through numbing pain. Now, my pain was probably different than your pain. I had pain. Everybody has pain. Without Christ, we're lost, right? So there's pain in that. So,
man. That's so good. And you're right. And everybody numbs it in different ways. So I can't go point a finger at someone because, they're numbing it different than I numbed it. I never once, I've never had marijuana. I've never taken a drug, a recreational drug.
Right.
Outside alcohol.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I felt like I can control alcohol.
Yeah.
But I never, that wasn't my struggle. So people could offer me anything all day long that they wanted to. Well, I don't have some of those struggles, but the person that's instigating those struggles, the person that's trying to cover up, it's dealing with the same thing that we, if I'm saying that correctly, we're dealing with the same enemy.
Yeah.
And it's the same victor who has won this battle for us.
Yeah.
That's going to win that battle and my battle. It's the same person. It's the same blood.
Yeah.
That died for us and to cover all that. So I can't point a finger at someone that struggles with something different than I do, no matter how drastic it is.
Right.
Jesus still loves them.
There's no judgment, man.
There's no judgment.
Yeah. No, Jesus died for that sin and my sin. Sometimes your sin looks worse than mine, but it just makes me feel better to point yours out. But in reality, sin is sin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jesus died for all sin, past, present, future.
That's
for
right.
those who believe in him. And
all
right, so you're a 30-year-old single dad.
Yeah.
How are your kids doing at this point in time? And how old are they?
So they were 3 and 5. And, story is that, she left in the middle of the night and took the kids. So we had to find the kids. And then there was a battle going back and forth, and me following from California to Oregon, Oregon to California, and back up to Oregon. Finally getting weekends and different things like that. Ultimately, I ended up getting full custody of them.
Okay.
But it took some time. And during that time, I can't say I was in the great space, either. But it was just one of those, it was a rough one. It was a rough, and there were a lot of things that were being said. There were one of the things the Lord taught me, and I try to suggest to people, People are going to say things about you. Some of it's going to be true. Some of it's not going to be true. All we can do is be honest with whomever and ourselves. And I remember just being honest with my kids from a early age on, their early age on, and remembering them finally kind of coming to this conclusion and setting me down at like 12 years old.
I love it.
Yeah. And saying, hey, Dad, we know who you are. We know, all this, and I won't go into all those details, but I was like, I just start bawling, you just start crying because you're just holding your tongue. You're holding your tongue. And but you want to fight. But so there are a lot of good,
So your kids, when they were really young, sit you down. Yeah. It's interesting that they felt safe enough, and that there would be no repercussions to say, hey, Dad.
Yeah.
A little come to Jesus meeting here.
Yeah.
Are your kids believers?
Yes, they are.
Awesome.
They are, my son's, he is, and he's still working on his testimony.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds familiar.
And my daughter, Kendra, she is so involved. She is so in love with the Lord, and
that's cool.
And just involved in it. And she went through her own life. She went through some tough times, and and now there is nothing that comes before her relationship with Jesus. It's pretty cool. It's fun to watch. So
the world promises much, but delivers nothing. Only Christ can deliver us from the bondage of sin and death. And so if you live on this side of heaven, guess what? You're going to have problems. Nobody gets out without a problem, or 2 or 10 or 100.
That's right.
And that's just what it is. There will be challenges and trials, as we know in James, and there's a purpose for that. And sometimes I think people blame God. Why is this happening to me? Well, if we read his word, it says clearly there will be testing of your faith, which produces endurance. It's got to be tested. If it doesn't tested, we have no idea how your faith really is. So I've been tested in different ways than you have. And, I've reflected back a lot. I don't like going there.
Yeah.
Because I think, man, I could have done a lot differently. I could have been a different guy. Why did I go here? That's my sin nature, or Satan trying to distract me from focusing on Christ, right? Mm-hmm. Because, the word says to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. It doesn't say seek first all your past problems and all the things you've done wrong, right? That doesn't bring any joy in my life. But I think to your point, what you do say is like, I enjoy going back and thinking about it and processing it and reflecting upon it, hopefully in a way to learn from it. I think that's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't go back there and try to change what happened and blame somebody else. It wasn't my fault. If we go back there and live, then that's the problem.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed. 100%. Yeah. And I think you have to, we see this all around us until we're ready to take responsibility for what our part was, whatever it may be.
Yeah. We're
never going to be free. I know people that are dealing with stuff for 40 years, 30, 40 years, and they still have certain things that are triggers or whatever you want to call them, because they refuse to take responsibility for their part. It doesn't mean the whole thing is their part, but you have to either forgive. If it was done to you, you have to forgive it.
Yeah.
It may be hard to forget, but you've got to forgive, because the only person it hurts when we don't forgive is us.
Me, myself, and I. Yeah. Well, the word says all things work for the good for those who love God and been called according to his purpose. Sometimes we forget that, this didn't feel good. It hurt or whatever. But God says all things work for the good. Do you believe that?
100%.
So how does, a lot of divorces out there. Every marriage out there is, it's one day at a time, right? I always think about this here. 50% of marriages end in divorce. What about the 50% that are still married that are teetering? I don't think anybody's immune from divorce, right? What do you say to those people,
that are teetering?
That are teetering. What's the answer? Do I go, hey, you don't have to go through divorce. This is the remedy. Is there a remedy? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. I think for me, I'll just say it this way, and then I'll relate it this way. One of my struggles has always been, since that first divorce, has been intimacy. And I'm not talking just a sexual thing. I'm talking about vulnerability. I'm talking about being able to, I have an easier time being vulnerable with men to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And that's because I want to be able to relate. I want to learn, and I want to be able to relate if there's anybody I can help. For women, and this goes back to that, goes back to even mom, I hate to say mom issues, but it does go back there. It is one of those things that has always been a struggle for me. So even in my marriage now, I have to be very purposeful in being vulnerable. And it sometimes is a struggle, but I think we have to press through. So in asking if both things are teetering, I say as fast as someone can get into a place where they're vulnerable, and certainly if they are believers, that they are praying together, because you can't remain mad or even neutral when you're praying together. And I think that's a huge part. And that's something that will come and go with emotion, but you got to get up, you got to get beyond the emotion, and it's something I'm still learning. I'm not, man.
You haven't figured it out yet, Ken?
Yeah. I'm not that, I would call myself not that great husband, but I would call myself a husband I'm just going to keep trying.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep, I pray all the time, Lord, let me see my wife through your eyes. Let me see my wife through yours, not through mine. Let me see him through yours. See her through yours.
Well, let's talk about, how long were you single, and then when did you get remarried? And let's talk about, you're married.
Man, we're going really into my dirt.
Come on, man.
I can't believe
we said being vulnerable. We prayed about that, Lord, help us. Me too. Help me to be vulnerable, because I don't want to share my sin, my stuff.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Honestly, I'll be honest. I joke, but I want to be able to share it. My sin. Yeah. I want to be able to share. Man, this is what I've struggled with. I am not this guy, because for a long time, people look at me and they go, man, this guy's got his heart's great. He's a great guy. He's charismatic. He's all these different things. And then I go behind closed doors and I'm this, guilt-ridden, shame-ridden guy that just wants to go drink or whatever it is. And I've had my struggle with drinking. I've had my struggle with pornography. All those things. Yeah. So, to go back to your question, I'll go back to being single. I was a believer living a life, or how you say it, I was living a life that I wanted to live, having fun, but I was a believer, and so went to church, got involved in men's ministries, some led men's ministries.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
No, I look good. I was looking good. Yeah. So I would go in and do all that stuff, but inside really struggling. But so 10 years, I was divorced and single for roughly 10 years, and ended up meeting a gal, not my current wife, got remarried.
Okay.
Wonderful person, great person, great family, loved them. But I had never fixed any of the stuff inside of me.
Yeah.
And we never had kids. She helped me raise my kids. And we ended up getting divorced after 7 years.
Okay.
And, my kids ask about that now, and I've had to reflect on that too. And the only thing I can say is I had not let the Lord, I hadn't completely yielded to him, surrendered to him. And I still had all this different baggage that was still there. Didn't matter how it looked, I during that time, just still leading men's ministries and everything, but having an unhealthy marriage. I was unfaithful in that marriage, and she forgave me, and we tried to move on, but I couldn't get over the guilt and the shame. And when you're talking about what would you say to someone teetering, that was where we were right there.
Yeah.
And I should have dug in as a man and said, look, this is God, marriage, let's go.
Yeah.
And get it done. And I just couldn't. Mm-hmm. The vulnerability thing, all that stuff. And so we ended up getting divorced, amicable, whatever. But, my kids even ask me about it now, and I'm honest with them. I just say, hey, look, man, I wasn't there. Could it have worked? 100%. If the Lord is on our side and we're submitting and submitting to Him, absolutely.
Key
100%.
words: are you submitting?
My first marriage could have worked if we were submitted and we were both, in the right place, in the right posture before the Lord. So I ended up divorcing, and then ended up getting back together with shortly after a girl. She was my high school sweetheart. My current wife is my high school sweetheart. Tried to elope with her when we were in high school, and her dad said no. Which we've been married now for 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah. So, but
you made it past the 7-year mark.
Yeah. She was a little nervous. At 7 years, she was a little nervous.
Okay, 15 years. This is good, man.
Yeah. So we're 15 years, and I remind her dad all the time now how much of our time he wasted.
Yeah.
By not letting me elope with her in high school.
Right.
Yeah, because we would have definitely nailed it in high school.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, we knew everything we needed to know. No,
100%, man.
Oh, yeah. It would have been good.
That's funny.
But. Yeah, so we have been married and for 15 years, love each other, been through a lot. We've been through some of my own stuff. We've been through illnesses. We've been through, a lot of things that but we're digging in and saying, okay, Lord, we're here. Nobody's going anywhere. What do you want us to do next? We got to dive in. Yeah. How good, bad, or ugly, we're diving in. And it's it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But I will say, I look at her every day and I say, Lord, you gave me her.
Yeah.
You gave me Julie. She's my wife. I want to see her through your eyes, and I want to love her how I'm supposed to.
Man.
So it's just a constant
I'm gonna start
daily
praying that too.
Yeah.
Seeing our wives through God's eyes.
Yeah.
Our wives are His daughter. You married His daughter. You better pay attention, bro. Right? That's how I feel. Again, not perfect, but when I'm not on my best behavior, I need to rethink that.
Yeah.
And go, that's God's daughter. He made her.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Dude, 15 years in, it's pretty cool. You guys are high school sweethearts. What do you love about Julie? What is about Julie that you think that's why we're together?
She makes me look good.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. Yeah.
Julie has always been such a giver, such a, not just to me. She does. I know she loves me more than anything, and she would do anything for me. I know that, but she gives beyond her means to whomever she can.
Yeah.
Sometimes to a fault, but that's been her heart our entire lives.
Yeah.
She's always been that person that is going to give to the kids, give to her friends. Mm-hmm. She sees a need. If it's in her ability to take care of that need, she's going to take care of that need. And she's not going to tell anybody. I mean, I've watched her pay bills. I've watched her do things that other people were struggling with without anybody ever even knowing. Yeah. It's where I'm like cringing, going, hey.
Hey.
But I mean, she's been doing that her entire life though. So that is her love for the Lord is deep. Her desire to be His daughter and just who He's called her to be is deep. Doesn't mean she doesn't have her own things that she has to deal with in her past.
Yeah.
But she doesn't allow the enemy to have that foothold in her life.
Was she previously married as well? Did she ever? Okay.
Yeah, and she's got 2 kids. So
Okay, so you have 4 kids.
Yep.
I get you.
Yeah.
That's cool. did Julie grow up in the church? Was she Christian early on and
Yep.
had her heart early on? I realize nobody's perfect, and I know it's a journey, so that goes without saying, right? Dude, that's awesome.
It is. She is, she's dealing with some stuff right now, some illness stuff right now, which you and I have talked about. Yeah. But I would be in a corner sucking my thumb, curled up in a fetal position. Man. She gets into the Word daily. She's still asking the Lord, who do I need to reach out to today? She's still that person that people come to and say,
that'll challenge you, man, just to have a wife who's maybe in the Word, maybe a little bit more often, a little bit more proactive on on discipling or whatever. So, man, I'll be praying for your wife. And I have prayed for your wife. I don't know Julie, but I know you guys have been dealing with some stuff for a while. Was this a newer thing? Has it always been going on? Whatever's been going on?
No, this was in 2020, and it was it's called isolated neurosarcoidosis. It's in her spinal cord, so it is an autoimmune. Yeah, it's nerves. Not much they can do. They can't operate on it. It was unfortunately an adverse reaction to the vaccine, the COVID vaccine.
Yeah,
and we weren't gonna take it, but we weren't seeing our grandkids or our kids or anything like that. And so she came home from work one day and she said, "Hey, I kind of went and did this," and I'm like, "Okay." But
her heart was right.
Yeah, the heart was totally right.
Yeah,
but now we're here. There's a lot of blessing in what we've been going through. The Lord has dealt with me through this, and I have not been able to. I've seen how selfish I have been in the past, and it's forced me to really deal with my own selfish inwardness. Yeah. So it has been so good for me in that regard. That's just talking me, right?
Yeah.
Watching your wife in pain, pretty much 24/7. Is not an easy thing. And I've gone through a lot of anger, and she's dealt with me going through a lot of anger. There was a moment where I went back to the drinking. Just
even the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dealing with stuff.
Yeah. Trying to numb that pain.
Trying to numb. I went right back to some of that familiar numbing mechanisms. So that's been tough.
Yeah.
But she is a rock star, and she has her days, of course.
Sure.
But, it's amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah. It's interesting how you see the blessing in the hard times. We don't often see God's goodness when things are going well. I mean, I know I surely don't. Point. That's why God allows, he doesn't cause it, but he allows it, the pain to happen. And we don't pray for that. We don't pray for pain, but God's going to allow it. The world will remind us this is not home. We're ambassadors passing through. I was talking to a buddy of mine, my buddy, we meet every Tuesday for coffee, who grew up in Whittier.
Yeah.
And Earth, where we live now, is the gateway to hell. Because, see, Satan is the one roaming around like a lion looking for someone to devour. It's the gateway. And so we get to witness it firsthand, like this is a living hell, right?
Yeah.
But you and I, we're called to bring, I'm not the light, but the light is in me to shine in the darkness. And guess what? That's what it is. There's light and dark, so we're going to do that. We're going to keep doing that until he calls us home.
Yeah.
And so, if everything's always good, we don't need God. If everything's great, what's the need for Christ? Right?
Sure makes it easy. Yeah, it makes it easier to push that away for sure. Forget that it's there.
But I think God's going to allow us to be tested, our faith, right? To make sure, hey, are you sure I'm number one? Really? Can you tell me more? Right? Hard time. Now what are you going to do about that? You going to be angry, or are you going to consider it all joy? Right? So
that's good.
Let's talk about, you and I first met. I remember we were at Pac Res, we were on a bus somewhere, going somewhere. I don't remember as a group. Who knows? We're top 10 trip. I don't even know. But you and I met each other. That's where I remember meeting you. We may have met before then, but
If it was a top 10 trip, it wasn't me.
here's the deal. It was
It
was on a bus somewhere. I don't remember where.
Yeah.
And we were going somewhere, and I got to meet you for the first time. And you were new coming back from you worked for a title company, I think, and then you were new back to Pac Res. Like coming back home.
We were in San Diego.
We're in San Diego. What were we doing?
We were
at Sales Mastery.
We were at Sales Mastery.
Yes.
That's what it was. 'Cause that was my first. I was golfing with Mark Saftich.
Oh yeah.
And we were at playing Great Blue, playing Heron Lakes. I know exactly where we were. We were on the fifth hole, and we're walking down the fairway, and he goes, "Would you ever just come back into mortgages?" I said, "I don't know, maybe." And the minute I said that, he got on the phone with Melissa Stashin. He goes, "Ken's thinking about coming back into the mortgage industry." She goes, "Tell him he's coming with us to San Diego then." Right. I'm like, "What?" He's like,
"That's it. That's exactly it." You were
coming with
like,
us.
that's where I met you. What year was that?
That would have had to have been 18, right? Had to have been 17, 18.
I may have met you before then, but I didn't know you.
From Mortgage Market.
I didn't work at Mortgage Market.
Oh, well, maybe we didn't then. I thought you were at Mortgage Market.
Nope, I was Pac Res only. Right?
Okay.
I came later. I came in 2011 to Pac Res.
Okay.
But that's cool. You came back in the mortgage industry, and you and Mark buddied up and became partners or whatever. So how long were you at Pac Res before you decided to? Because that was 2018 when you were
in. Yeah. I think I kind of we left Pac Res and went to Peak for a minute and did some things. And I kind of, at that point, I was kind of not really, I just wasn't feeling it. I was doing it. And, Pac Res was amazing. The Stations are amazing. And 100%. I've always loved them. I've worked with them since Mortgage Market. Yeah. So I got in the industry in the 90s with Mortgage Market with the Stations. And
you did? Okay.
All that, yeah. So, and when Kurt Van der Zanden was there and all those guys, right?
Yeah.
So I've always had tremendous respect for them. But anyhow, I got back in, but I just wasn't feeling it. For me, I just felt like there was something different I was supposed to be doing, and it wasn't. It just wasn't clicking. So I ended up not knowing where I was going to go. Really, I ended up just kind of moving on. I believe when I've left the mortgage industry finally is when I really went to work for Costco is when I did that.
Because you guys moved down to the Bay Area.
We did.
For your wife, to get some medical help. And
that's right.
That's where you go, I need to go get a real job at Costco. And,
yeah. Well, I started up here temporarily in Vancouver.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the humbling part. You're I'm pulling myself out of, I've done sales forever. I've done mortgages and I've done corporate sales. Right. I've done all these different things, had some success. And I always say, financially, I wasn't trained very well financially. My parents knew how to spend money.
Yeah.
But teaching us how to budget, they didn't do very well. So I made a lot of money and spent a lot of money.
Oh, you sound like the rest of us.
Yeah. So I went to Costco as a temporary, and they hired me on full time. They wanted me to come on full time, and then they transferred me down there. After about 4 months of being up here, because we knew we needed to go down there, they transferred me down there, and I ended up in Costco for another couple of years and was, being a supervisor and all that kind of stuff. I absolutely loved it. It was, I'm like, I wish I would have done this 30 years earlier.
Man.
Just because.
What a great career that would have been.
It seriously would have been.
No, I agree.
It is so, at least for some people. Some people couldn't handle it. It's controlled chaos. You're with people all day long. All I'm trying to do is put smiles on people's faces. Yeah. All I'm trying to do is, and your head's on a swivel constantly. It's great for a guy with ADD because you're doing so many different things.
Right.
So it was awesome, and it was tough to leave there when I did. But
why did you leave?
I was offered a full-time position at Convoy of Hope.
Okay.
Which is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And I was with them as an ambassador for a year while I was still at Costco, and I've always wanted to be in the nonprofit world.
Yeah.
I've wanted to be in a ministry aspect of that kind of world. I've always loved missions and traveling and different things like that. And anyhow, after a year being this part-time kind of an ambassador, they hired me full-time.
Yeah.
And so I've been there now roughly, I think it just passed 3 years.
Wow. Time flies, man.
Yeah, it does. But it is amazing. I mean, it's the only reason I would have left Costco, to be honest.
So you were still down in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You left Costco and began down there. What brought you back up here? 7 months ago or 8 months ago?
Yeah. Ailing parents.
Ailing parents.
Yep. So
Your mom?
my mom, her mom is going through a lot of medical issues and aging and
It's tough,
some
man.
real rough stuff. And her dad has some stuff happening physically. And so, we just needed to be closer. We
100%.
we don't have any kids here. They're all, spread out.
Yeah.
So, but felt like that's where we needed to be. I kind of came kicking and screaming.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I did.
Your wife's like, no, we're going. You're like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I was all doing it. I was only doing it for her because I loved the Bay Area.
You loved it. Why?
Oh, man, I just love the sunshine. I grew up here. So I've been in this gray for, years. And I used to get so tired of the gray here. And I finally, we came up here and I again went through stuff when I first moved up here. I was like, I do not want to be here. I'm so angry. I don't want to be here.
Really?
I did. I went through, and Portland represents, kind of going back to our previous conversation too, Portland represents a huge struggle for me. Personally just struggling through things, strongholds and things like that. Portland represents that. So me coming back to Portland was like me going back into my cesspool. It's like, I don't want to do this. And so there was a lot of pushback. I really didn't push back. We came. I just ended up being angry, right?
Yeah, okay.
And a buddy of mine, I finally called a buddy of mine who, kind of a very prophetic kind of guy, and I just said, Jason, man, I need to meet. And I hadn't talked to him in probably 3 or 4 years, other than likes on Facebook or something.
He's the guy you want to talk to, though.
And we went out to coffee, and he just listened and listened. The next day, he spoke some wisdom into my life. But the next day, he sent me a text and a word that he felt was for me, and it was based on Jonah, of all things. And he said, I want you to read these verses specifically, and I need you to realize it's not Julie or your parents calling you to Portland. It's God calling you to Portland.
I'm not going.
And as long as you
fight, tell me about that.
Yeah. As long as you fight, you're gonna be fighting the storm. That's it. You're gonna have the storm. And how long do you want to be in the belly of the well? So it was really that moment that started my mind and that was probably 3 months after we moved.
Yeah.
And that was just got me, my spirit.
Which has been 4 months ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fresh.
4 or 5 months ago.
4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah. So, but it's good. I mean, I go back to that word all the time. Anyhow.
Okay. So what was the word again? What was the prophetic word?
The prophetic word was that it wasn't Julie or
it's God,
parents that called me here, that God's calling me back to
based
Portland.
Based upon Jonah, okay.
And the actions being, you're going to be similar in riding this storm. The storm's going to continue to rage. You're still going to be in the belly of the well until you decide to yield, until you understand that God's called you here, which I do now. And
how do you know you're clear now? What makes it clear?
I think that word made it very clear, but it was, and that word made me surrender. That word made me yield. That word made me say, okay, God, I just need you to show me. And it's not like there wasn't bumps in the road. It's not like all of a sudden overnight, but it was me finally going, Lord, you've called me here to Portland. So let me look at this differently. Let's look at this. Like we're praying for our wives, let me see this through your eyes, not mine, because mine sees my past right here, my struggle right here.
Yeah. Hey, what's that verse on your arm?
It's great. Isaiah 43.
What is Isaiah 43?
Isaiah 43. Fear not, I've called you by name. You are mine. When you go through the waters, they will not overtake you. When you walk through the fires, you will not be burned. My son and I got those on our arms at the same time.
I love that.
He wanted to. He was going through some tough stuff. And
I'm with you, bro.
He goes, I want you to get a tattoo. And I always said, outside the rainbow cobra I have around my torso and everything.
That one? Okay,
that one. Yeah, that's a cool one. But anyway. Outside that, he goes, I want to do this. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get this on for you. And it was supposed to be a little more elaborate, but we just did this. But
Doesn't matter, man.
He goes, all right, I'll do it. And he was going to jail at that time, and he was going through some tough times. And
all right, back to my friend Jeff Morgan. This is kind of funny. About a month ago, he shows up for coffee one morning. He goes, check this out. On his left arm, tetelestai, which is, it is finished. It's just kind of funny. You guys from Whittier, you both got tattoos on your left arm. Hey, that's weird. But hey, you got to be from Whittier.
Well, us Whittier guys, we're tats. We're tat guys.
Yeah, you're totally a tat guy.
Yeah.
He's got the same scorpion tattoo on his back, too.
Does he really? Yeah. That's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Jeff, but... Okay, so tell us a little bit more about Convoy of Hope. I want to really understand the ministry. What is it that you do? What's the goal?
I think my position is, and Convoy's position really is meeting with individuals and organizations and helping them find their purpose and turning that purpose or that compassion or passion into a lasting impact around the world, in communities, among people. Convoy of Hope is really big on fighting hunger around the world, disaster relief, empowering women around the world, agricultural training, creating sustainability, and then communities, U.S. communities, and really creating hope for individuals that don't have hope. We're called to be the hands and feet of Jesus, and Convoy leads with that. We may be faith-based, but we act first, and that provides an opportunity a lot of times to share the gospel. But if it never does, if we feed someone in the name of Jesus, if we feed them, if we house them, if we clothe them, if we empower them to create some kind of sustainability for their family, then that's good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So, and people that want to jump on that, if they have that passion, then we kind of find where's that passion flow? What does that look like for you? And let's find a path.
How do we connect more with that so we understand more about Convoy of Hope? Is there like a website we could connect people to? Because I think people listening might be interested. Yeah,
absolutely. You can always go to convoyofhope.org.
Okay.
Certainly you can, get a hold of me if you want to learn more, if you're in the area.
Yeah.
And if someone has questions, they can certainly call them, or you can call me, or whatever you want to do. And we'll just kind of figure out, one of our things with Convoy of Hope is it's really empowering people to do what God's called them to do. We all have time, treasure, and talents. Everybody has a different amount of each of those. And it's just a matter of what God's calling us to do with our resources. And for us, it is, when you find that passion, let's find that opportunity that gives you the ability to use those things. And however that is. And we, we're very sensitive to making sure it's not about Convoy. We team with other nonprofits. And we don't even put our name out there. We just, if they have something going, we're going to come and back that because it's giving out. And that's huge for Convoy.
Love it, dude.
And
Love it.
It was really cool. It started real quick, I'll say it started in the Bay Area. Our founder, the story of our founder is amazing. So his dad was a pastor, and long story short, His dad one night was killed by a drunk driver. His mom was in the hospital for several months fighting for her life. And another couple brought them in and took care of these kids, these 3 kids, in with their 3 kids in his trailer for months and months and months. And Hal, our founder, decided, I need to be an advocate somehow. How am I going to use my talents? And decided to be a journalist. He ended up interviewing Mother Teresa. And in the interview, Mother Teresa, he says, flipped the tables and just kind of said, so what are you doing they're in Calcutta. What are you doing to help the poor? And he said, really nothing. And she just very kindly, not judgmentally, not, anything, just said, everybody can do something. Just do the next kind thing. And he went back to his room and he says, it just wrecked me. And he came back to the States, never meant to start something as big as Convoy of Hope, but just started handing out food out of the back of a truck. And it just went from there. And when he tells his story and he tells his passion about feeding children, and we feed, 677,000 kids a day, school day around the world. Yeah. We've responded already to over 55 disasters this year already, and 99 last year. But when he tells his story about his calling and his purpose, when the Lord really has revealed all this to them, when he talks about what we're doing, he tears up. It's like he was just told this last night. Wow. It is just amazing, his compassion, his passion. It's unbelievable.
And when God gets a hold of your heart, when you actually give it to him, all of it, it makes us a lot softer.
Amen.
And he can work through us. Hey, we're going to wrap up, Ken. It's been not quite 3 hours, but we're going to wrap up. But I love golf. You love golf. What's your handicap?
Right now, I think I'm a 12.
Okay. What's your best handicap ever?
6.
Okay. So you're a great golfer. Did we ever golf together?
No, I don't think we ever golfed together.
It's funny. I golfed with Mark Satvich in Mexico, probably 2020, summer COVID days. We all went to Mexico, and that was a good time. I wish you'd have been there.
Oh, I would love that.
When's the last time you golfed with Mark?
A couple of weeks ago.
Oh, so
we try to golf. He and I, we team up on different events.
So you're still doing things together?
Oh yeah,
heck yeah.
Oh yeah. I connect with him quite a bit, and we still try to stay in touch. And golf is definitely one of those things that keep people in touch, no matter how long you've.
So golf's your thing still?
Golf's my thing. It's just what I'm passionate about. I love, I can have a horrible day and get all mad and I'm never going to play this game again. And I'll be out the next day.
Yeah. That one shot brought you back.
Yeah.
What is a lesson that you can teach us about golf that has taught you about life?
So it's funny you just asked that because golf is life. I mean, golf, I would get kids anything I could into a golf game if I could, other kids and people, because it does teach you about life. It's never the same the next day. In the midst of one hole, you can go through so much turmoil, or a valley, or a mountain. You can go through it all. I can get a hole in one. I don't know what I did the hole after the hole in one, but I'll bet I doubled it or tripled it. I mean, it's just all a part of life. It can be beautiful, which I believe a golf course is just beautiful when I'm walking on it. And in the midst of that beauty is going to be sand traps, trees, fescue, water, everything till you get to the end of the goal. And you're going to deal with it all. And how do you deal with it mentally?
Yeah.
How do you deal with it physically even,
No, well said. One of my favorite movies of all time, 7 Days in Utopia.
Love it.
I was going to say, tell me you've watched it because I've watched it probably 10 times. My dad, who doesn't even golf, loves it. He's watched it at least 3 times. But that's golf. Golf is life. And so I have a good friend, Kurt Fayville. He turned me onto that movie, and I got the book. I read the book, and just so many lessons to learn about life and golf. And You're right. At one moment you might be in the water, the sand trap, and the next moment you hit a hole in one. I have yet to hit a hole in one. I don't know. We'll see. But it's golf. In one moment I'm like, I love this game. The next moment, I actually pay money for this? Are you kidding me? Like, this is ridiculous.
That's right.
Right? But
that's right. What's your favorite golf course?
Well, I've golfed a fair amount. I can only just say, I golf Salem the most, and so that's my default course.
Okay.
I've golfed Creekside, golfed some courses up in the Portland area. But honestly, the ones I really feel comfortable at is Salem. Mm-hmm. It's where I've golfed the majority of my golf. Yeah. Elkhorn. Did you ever golf Elkhorn?
Elkhorn, yes.
Elkhorn was up in the.
It's on the way to, like,
my mind's
Central,
blank.
Right?
Yeah. It's probably 30, 45 minutes from here up in the mountains. But through the fires, it went away. It no longer exists.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It got burned up, and but what a tough course. That's a great course to go have some fun. You probably lose a few balls. Yeah. Tight course. But Salem, it's an old course. It's usually, 75, 80. You get some shade from the trees. It's just relaxing to me. So golf for me helped me unplug from work. So really what I needed golf for was to unplug from work, because otherwise work was no good. I was getting some coaching from a coach. This is 15 years ago probably. And right after 2008 crash, and it might have been 17, 18 years, I don't know. I was going to get some coaching. The coach is like, you don't need coaching. You need to go out and have some fun and go figure out life and quit. He goes, you're a lot like me, where you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you go to work, you go home, this routine of just, because you need to go figure out, do something fun. So 15 years ago, I had golfed a little bit, but I took up golfing where once a week during from like April to October, November, I golf. Wintertime, I'm not golfing. I don't want to golf in the rain. And that gave me a new perspective, and we've been doing it for a long time, and I love golf for that purpose. I'm not great. I think the lowest handicap I've had was a 12. I'm probably much higher. I'll just say I'm much higher now. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that's good. As long as you're having fun. That is absolutely right.
Yep. So, well, Ken, this has been a blessing. I appreciate the vulnerability, the transparency. Me too. Like, what's the point of living a surface level life if everybody goes, Ken, your life is great? You're like, dude, you have no idea about me. People say that to me. I was like, you have a great marriage and stuff. You really don't know. You've never came over to my house. You've never stepped inside. You have no idea what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. And I'm no different than anybody else. It's one day at a time. It's like golf. Whatever happened yesterday, good or bad, today's a new day. That's my whole lesson is like, yeah, golf sucked yesterday, but that's okay. Today's a new day. Or I had my best round yesterday ever. Well, today's a new day. I got to do it again. So,
you know what? If I can say this one last thing, because you just kind of said it. If we can't be vulnerable, and a lot of times appearances aren't what they seem. Mm-hmm. Even when you find, and I remember telling my daughter this, talking about amazing marriages, people that I would just idolize their marriages right now. They've been married for 50 years, mm-hmm. and they are just, it is amazing how much they love each other and everything like that. And I would say to her, or anybody else, I would say, then go ask them what they've gone through, because I guarantee they've been on the brink one or two times in their marriage. Guaranteed. And that's what's made them what they are. That strength and going through that is what made them who they are, their marriage, what it is.
Yeah. Well, brother, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening this week. As always, we appreciate you being here. Hopefully you get value out of this. Please share this podcast with somebody. We all need the encouragement to be honest and transparent and vulnerable, especially as guys. We don't like that. That's weak. Well, really, it's not weakness. It's strength. So there you go. If you want to be on the podcast, we'd love to have you. If you know of somebody that would want to be on here, reach out. I have all my information in the show notes. The information for Ken, Convoy of Hope, I'll put in there as well. And then we'll see you next week. So thanks so much, Ken. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
pleasure.
Sure.
Loved it.
Peace out, man.